Hi everyone, welcome back, welcome to my channel. My name's Christina if you're new here, if you're not, welcome back. But in today's video I thought we'd do something really fun with Dice's Choose the amount of pages I read. And you're probably thinking, but Dice's only go to like 2-6, so what are you doing, like timesing the number or what? No, I have these dice. These dice are from like a Pokemon trainer box and I have them, and there are different ones that go up to different numbers. So I'm going to use the one that goes up to the lowest number and the highest number, and I'm going to roll them, add them together, and then that's how many pages I have to read. So one goes from 10 to 60 and one goes from 130 to 180. I'm going to roll them, add the numbers together, and that's going to be how many pages I have to read that day. I'm going to roll them and then I'm going to pick them off the floor and add the thing. So let's just do it. Okay. So we got 170 and 40, so we need to read 210 pages, which is pretty good to be honest with you, and it's not too low, but it's also like a good number. So let me talk about some books I want to read, and most importantly, my current read. So this is the 5th book in the DC Stars series. This is Sinbin by Chelsea Curto. This is my current read. I've been reading this series since December. I read book 1 in December, book 2 in January, book 3 in February, and I've read book 4 in March, and I'm going to read book 5 also in March, and this is on my March TBR. I am really enjoying it so far. I'm currently on page 105, which is chapter 13, so by reading 210 pages of this, we'll be on page like 315, which is honestly so doable. These books I binge, I love the characters, I love the ice hockey team, I love the settings. I'm here for it. So this is an ice hockey romance, and in this book we are following Coach Brodie Saunders as well as Hannah Everett, which Hannah is one of the guys on the team's younger sister. This is quite a big age gap. Pretty sure it's 13 years. She coaches his daughter, who is a teenager. I think she's 13. The age gap between them is when he had a kid. Whoa. She is a figure skater, and obviously he coaches the DC Stars team, and we are following them. She ends up agreeing to coach his daughter figure skating. She is a figure skater, and she has recently fallen out of love with figure skating, and she's trying to figure out a way to fall back in love with it, and she agrees to coach his daughter to try and for her to find her love again with the sport, but also because his daughter needs a coach, and she's never coached before, but she thinks she would be able to help her. And she wants to give her the coaching experience that she never got when she was younger. But yeah, I am really enjoying this so far. I'm on page 105, which she's just done her first lesson coaching his daughter. I'm very, very much enjoying this. I'm going to mood read through the week, but the ones that I think I'm probably going to end up getting to is Sinbin by Chelsea Curto, A Promise So Bold and Broken by Sophia St. Germain. This is the 2nd book in the Compelling Fate saga, and I really, really want to get to this. And then the other book that I'm also planning to get to at least is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. I'm so excited to read this book. This is one of the most anticipated releases. This is the 3rd book. No, this is the 2nd book in the Heartstrings series, and I loved book 1 and I cannot wait to read book 2, and book 3 title has just been announced, so I'm very, very excited to read this book. They are the 3 that I would at least like to get to during this vlog. I think obviously I'm going to end up probably reading more than, maybe I'll just end up reading the page number, maybe I'll end up reading more a day, but these are books that I really, really, really want to read, and they are all series that I'm also in the middle of, which is really fun. Sinbin's on my TBR, the other 2 aren't on my TBR for the month, but I don't really mind. We could also obviously read any books I want. Good morning, it is now day 2 of Dice Choose the amount of pages I have to read for a day. Yesterday we got 210, which I definitely did more than 210 because I finished Sinbin last night. So we were on page 105, which is chapter 13 when we started yesterday, and I finished this book, and this book is 449 pages, so we definitely did our 210 pages because we did over 210 pages, but this was such a good read. I think I'm settling on like a 4-star for this. So good. Loved every second of it. Binged it. everyone needs to pick up the DC Star series by Chelsea Koto because it's so good. And this is the 5th book that's out. This is the most recent release that has come out in the series. This year we are getting the final 2 books, which are Ethan and Grant's books, which I'm very excited about. So good. I loved our characters. I loved the way it went. And honestly, I have no complaints. No complaints. Good vibes. So I think I'm going to say like a 4.5, maybe 4.25. But yeah, such a good read. But that does mean that we do need to, 1, choose a new book, and 2, we need to roll the dice to see how many pages I have to read today. So I have got work today, so I need to like read them after work because I've not read anything this morning because I was watching I was watching the ice hockey. I was watching the Sharks Bruins game that happened last night. I was watching that this morning. So let's roll the dice, let's see how many pages we're gonna get, and let's choose a book. Okay, we got 130 and 50, so that does mean we need to read 180 pages today, which I think is a good number and a good amount that I can like properly get into a book. So let's have a look at some options. So obviously, like I said yesterday, I'd really like to get to And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison and A Promise So Bold and Broken by Sophia St. Germain, but I also got this delivered yesterday. This is Moonstruck by Holly Jukes. This is the 3rd book in the Liberty Grove series. So honestly, I'd quite like to read any of them. I think after reading Sin Bin, I think I kind of would love to read A Promise So Bold and Broken. This is the 2nd book in the Compelling Fake saga. If you saw my last video, which was my DBC bookmarks choose my reads, you would have seen how much I loved book 1 by the end of it. And not necessarily that I struggled to get into the start, it just took me a while to get into it. And not because of the book, because I wasn't reading, but I'm so excited to read this. So in the 1st book, basically we're following Alessia, who is a half-fae, and we follow her as she has a blood oath with the king because of something that happened in her past. She now has been living in a place called Elbow for I think about 5 years now, but the king decides to finally call in his blood oath and forces her to run for election, and she has to do this. She has no choice, and her guard, when they do this, they allow 1 person with them. Her guard is essentially the king's murderer, the king's killer. I don't know. So she is like, he might try and kill me, and we basically follow on her journey through the election process as well as her story as a whole, and we find out what she's been doing these years that she's been away from the kingdom since being exiled by the king. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited to go into this one. Good morning, happy Saturday. But I did end up doing my 180 pages yesterday. I did bang on the 180 pages. I definitely could have read so much more of this book last night, but I was so tired. Work yesterday was just, I don't know, it took it completely out of me. I went to bed early, I woke up late. Honestly, completely took everything out of me, but I did end up reading my 180 pages. I said I'm not going to bed until I've read these 180 pages, so I did end up doing that. And I got to chapter 20 and I'm really enjoying it. It obviously carries on pretty much directly after the events that happened in book 1, which obviously I don't want to go into because spoilers, and obviously I did say what book 1 was about, but yeah, we're directly following the events of that, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying our characters and the little things we're getting, and I'm really excited to get more character development on Alessia as she goes through things that happened, and how she goes through and deals with things and trauma that she has from when she was younger, as well as she is obviously grown up. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying this. Honestly, whatever dice I rolled today, I will probably end up finishing the book because I'm on page 180 and this is 445. This is 445. So obviously I think the minimum we can get is like 130, I think. So even if we got 130 pages, we'd be like 300 and something, and then there's like just over 100 pages left. Everyone knows the last 100 pages of a fantasy book are like crazy. So if I have anything probably just over 100 pages, I'm probably just going to end up finishing this book today. But let's get our dice, roll our dice, and let's see how many pages we're reading today. Oh, we're definitely going to end up finishing the book today because of the number anyway. We got 170 and 30, so that means we need to read 200 pages today. So we need to get to at least page 380, and like I said, that will mean that I have like, that's practically chapter 39, so that would mean I have 60 pages left of the book. So I will be finishing this book today, but I'm very, very excited to sit and read more of this and get further into the story. And honestly, depending on how this book ends and how invested I get through the rest of the book, we might end up reading book 3 in this video. Hello, happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. But I do have work today. I'm doing the Mother's Day shift. It's going to be great fun. I'm hoping we don't get such a high number of pages to read today, but let me give you a little catch up on what happened yesterday. Like I said in the morning, that I would probably end up just finishing off A Promise So Bold and Broken based on how far I was in, how many pages I'd have left, and I did end up finishing it. I think maybe doing it in like 3 sessions and doing like 100 pages every session that I read yesterday, and I absolutely loved it. This is a 5-star read. This is my second like 5-star read that's not a reread of the year. So I love this book. I love the characters, I love the world, I love the plot, I love where it's going, I love the relationships. I cannot wait to read book 3. I very nearly was like, okay, I'm gonna just jump straight into book 3, but I was like, no, Christina, because when I love a series, I do typically wait, like at least try and read a book in between, because I just want to savour it. So I did start another book last night, but I did end up finishing this, which would have got us over, I think we had to read 200 pages yesterday, and that did obviously get us over our 200 page goal. But last night I did end up starting And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is one of my most anticipated releases. This very much could be a 5-star read. I read First Time Caller about this time last year and absolutely loved it, and since then I have gone through it and I've read all of B.K. Borison's other books. Good Spirits I read back in December, was a 5-star read, and I have now read the entire Love Like Farm series and loved every single one of them. So I'm very, very excited to read this, and already I'm on chapter 3, which is page 29, and I'm literally obsessed and I love our characters. And obviously we met these in the previous book, but so good, seriously so good. So I wouldn't be mad if it's a high number, but also I don't really want it to be a high number because I know when I get home from work today I'm going to be so tired, so drained, and I don't think I'm going to want to sit and read my book for ages. But nevertheless, let's roll the dice. We just rolled another 200 pages today, 150 and 50. So definitely on the higher end of pages we can get. The lowest amount of pages we can get is 150. So, I mean, it's not the highest, but it's definitely also not the lowest. So today we need to get to page 229, which is gonna probably end us here, which will be chapter 21, which is page 235. So we have a lot of reading. This is like over half the book that we now need to read today. I'm going to try and read as much as I can before I have to go to work, but I have already spent the morning watching a ice hockey game, so it's now 8:41 and I have to leave the house in like an hour. My breakfast is in the oven. I just need to get dressed. I've done my hair, I've done my makeup. I just need to have breakfast, pack my lunch and get dressed. So I think I should be able to at least read a couple chapters this morning, and then hopefully tonight we can do the 200 pages. Obviously I'm gonna force myself to do the 200 pages anyway. Hopefully I'll be home by like 5 p.m. On Sunday we have shorter hours, so we're open from 10 till 4, but a lot of the time that does mean we don't get out till like 5, so I'm really hoping that I'm not at work any later than 5 tonight, but we will see. I haven't even told you what this book's about. In this book we're going to follow Jackson and Delilah. Jackson is like neat, predictable, rambles when he's nervous, and she likes the wild, spontaneous life, but for years they have always clashed. Thunder and lightning. He leaves her passive aggressive notes when she parks her car over the lines in the car park, and they are paired up against their will to, I think, cover a snowstorm that's happening. Hello everyone, it is the final day of Dice Choose the amount of pages I'm going to read for the day. This has been so much fun, but yesterday we needed to get to page 235, which I did do, and ended up stopping at page 235 because yesterday was not a fun day at work. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just say there was like maybe 15 minutes of the whole entire shift that there was no queue at the door to come in, so you know, a win is a win. I don't know, but yeah, I did end up doing that, so let's roll our dice. If I get anything over 200 pages, I need to start a new book today as well, so let's see. Let's hope we don't. But 190 pages, because we got 60 and a 130, so we need to read 190 pages, which will get me to 425, which is practically the end of the book because this book is 438. So basically I'm going to finish this book today. Hello, it is the time of the video that we talk about through all of the books that I finished in this video. I actually am kind of shocked that I did 3 books in this video, but I did obviously choose the highest and the lowest dice, so it kind of makes sense because it was a lot of pages like every day. But let's go through them. First of all, obviously yesterday I did end up finishing And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. So good. I can't believe we had back-to-back 5-star reads, because I've had 1 5-star read this year and now we've had 3, so round of applause. But let's go through all the books we've read and then I will end the video off here. So obviously we did start the video off and we read Sin Bin by Chelsea Curto. This is the 5th book in the DC Star series. There are 2 more books coming out this year, which I'm so excited for. But in this book we are following Coach Brodie Sanders and Hannah Everett, who is the little sister of one of the guys that is on the hockey team that he coaches. And there's like, it's 14-year age gap. He is he's not a single dad because the mother is in the picture, but he is a single dad technically, and it's so much fun. And he like she coaches his daughter in figure skating, and he ends up trying to help her find her spark again with skating, and it's such a good book and I would highly recommend this series. If you've been thinking about picking up the DC Star series, definitely do, because these are some of my favourite books that I've read in a long time. So yeah, then we read A Promise So Bold and Broken, which is the 2nd book in the Compelling Fate saga by Sophia St. Germain. So in this book, I'm not going to talk too much about this one as a whole, but in book 1 you follow Lesia. She's a half-fae and she has a bargain essentially with the king, and he calls in and she has to run for regent for this town, and it kind of goes from there, and we follow it directly on from the events of book 1. And this book is so good. The romance in the series is so good, and the characters and the plot and everything. So that is book 2nd book we read, but this is the 2nd book in the Compelling Fate saga. And then finally we read And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is the 2nd book in the Heartstrings series. We did it all series this video, which is fine because I was just like mood reading as we were trying to read the pages. But this is And Now Back to You. This is the 2nd book in the Heartstrings series. In this book we follow Delilah and Jackson, and Delilah is the like fun and she's always smiling, and Jackson is organised to a T, and yeah, So we basically follow them. We meet them in book 1, where we find out that not that they don't really like each other, but they argue a lot. They don't really see eye to eye on things. He always leaves her post-it notes on her car because she parks over the line. And in this book we are following them as they work for different stations. So one is a radio station, one is a television station, I don't really know, but basically the two of them come together so they can document a historic snowstorm in their town, and they have to go somewhere else, go stay in the mountains when this snowstorm is happening and document it. So everyone in Baltimore knows, and we follow that and we see their relationship grow, and it's really nice, and I loved this one so much. And again, another 5-star read. So in this video we had a 4.25, 4.5 with Sin Bin, a 5-star with Promise So Bold and Broken, and a 5-star with Them Now Back to You, which is crazy. And I'm so excited that I read all these, and I cannot wait to, one, continue the Compelling Fate saga, but to also wait for the next releases in both of the other 2 series, because I'm so excited. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed me rolling dice and seeing how many pages we would read, and I really enjoyed doing it. I think it was fun, and maybe I'll do it again. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.